Sir George Zambellis, the first Sea Lord and head of the Royal Navy. Thank you very much for joining us, Admiral. Tell us, what do you make of it? It's an amazing piece of architecture behind you.
It's the most beautiful ship, and it's a statement of intent for both the Royal Navy and the nation.
Why does Britain need to have a warship this size?
Well, what we like to offer for the nation is sea choice, the ability to achieve strike capability from the carrier, as well as helicopters, as well as marines and soldiers. And all of that gives the government, gives the nation choice at sea in our global responsibilities.
You said earlier this week, I understand, that Britain needs 2 of these aircraft carriers. In the last Strategic Defence Review in 2010, the government said actually just having one will give the country military flexibility when responding to a crisis. Why do you say we need 2?
Because if the government decides it needs an aircraft carrier at short notice, if it presses the button for the activation of a carrier, it needs to be sure it's there. And the only way you can do that is to create one continuously available from 2.
So where will this be once it gets going? Because it's actually not going to be usable until the year 2020. There's quite a lot that needs to happen, because this is effectively almost a hull, isn't it?
Well, she's got 2 more years fitting out, and of course we haven't built something as large as this before, but another 2 years' work is not unreasonable. She is, by the way, about 1/3 of the cost of an American carrier of not dissimilar size. So we're doing quite well when you referred earlier to how expensive she is. But the important thing is that she will move to Portsmouth in a couple of years' time. That will be her home base, and from there she will develop her capabilities, initially flying helicopters and then eventually jets. And I would expect the first jets to be flying in about 2018.
And of course, Admiral, you did refer to the cost there, but of course the US budget for defence is much larger than the UK's, so we would also put that into perspective as well. I mean, many people will be seeing this and thinking this has cost the taxpayer a lot of money. Is it worth it?
It certainly is. We've got ourselves a remarkable piece of engineering at a remarkable price. And when you're dealing with strategic capabilities like nuclear submarines and carriers, they don't come cheap. They're part of the nation's insurance policy. Our job, both through the government's direction and guidance and also through the Navy's management, is to make sure we deliver the most efficient product we can. And this ship only has 600 people aboard, so that is a fraction of previous vessels of this size.
Tell us, how are you feeling ahead of the ceremony today? What will be your role? What will be happening?
Well, it's an extraordinary day, and to have Her Majesty the Queen name the ship today is an astonishing privilege both for the Navy and the nation. For her to give not just her name, but the name Queen Elizabeth of both our Queen Elizabeths is a remarkable moment, and we're really looking forward to it. And it's dry in Scotland.
That's always good to know. Admiral Sir George Zambellis, First Sea Lord and Chief of the Naval Staff, Head of the Royal Navy. Thank you very much for joining us on Breakfast. Do enjoy the opening ceremony later.